Lions TV, this is the Den Daily, bringing you all the latest gossip, views and transfer news from in and around the Den. Welcome back, we are back in business. I've been waiting and waiting for Millwall to release their retain list for the 23-24 season, and today on Friday the 19th of May they dropped it about 4 PM, which means there's a lot of videos to get out. They won't all be out tonight, they'll go out across the course of the weekend, finishing with a complete review of every player that's been kept, every player that's been released, and ones that have been offered and accepted new contracts. There was 3 players that were sort of at the forefront of this. They were Mason Bennett, Scott Malone and Ryan Leonard. And we're going to start by covering Mason Bennett. Mason Bennett is to be released by Millwall Football Club after just over 3 years at the club. He originally joined Millwall in 2020 on loan in the January of that season, and he came back in the summer as a permanent fixture from Derby County, clocking up 103 appearances in the process and 11 goals. When I looked at it in terms of that and stats, I thought that doesn't look too bad at all, really, because he's got this reputation as being permanently injured and glass ankles and all the rest of it. And I don't mean this horribly, but it's become a little bit of a... His injuries have become a little bit of a joke amongst the supporters at the club, which is a real shame, because Mason Bennett, make no mistake, is a player that I've been rooting for a long, long time. And when you look at him, I mean, if I played for Millwall, you'd say, yeah, he's fucked. No wonder he's always injured. He's overweight. He don't look after himself. And on the flip side of that, in the Championship, it's a very physical league. So if you was to get a very slight player that was skinny or get crunched a lot in tackles, you could understand why sometimes players can't stand up to, as I said, a very physical, probably the most physical in England division. But Bennett is powerful, he's strong, he's well built, but for whatever reason his body just can't seem to cope with the games that he's got to play, and he's picked up injury after injury after injury. Even at times I'm hearing behind the scenes, I might be wrong, that taking himself off of scans and self-diagnosing himself. So it's obviously in his mind, and that's a real shame, because he's a very, very talented player. As I said, when he was fit, either in that 10 or as a wide striker left, he was definitely, a higher level player at our club. Let's start looking at his first full season. In his first full season at the club, that was during the lockdown season, wasn't it? And he formed a formidable partnership with Jed Wallace, sort of a makeshift strike partnership. And I think he actually scored something like 6 goals in 8 games in that run. I remember him scoring 1 away at Reading, a good header that to win the game up there at the Majayski, amongst other goals. And he actually made in that season 37 appearances, and 29 of those were as a starter. So he had early injury worries, and I think he had those sort of worries as well as some personal problems at Derby, and that's probably why we got him for the amount we did. I think it was an undisclosed fee. I didn't expect it to be a lot of money. He'd spent 9 years at Derby as a pro previous to that, but just when you thought he got the better of his injuries and he's going to be a pivotal player for us, they come in again. And I think that really showed. The 21-22 season, where he made 29 appearances, only 16 of those were as a starter. And again, referring back to him being a little bit of a, his injuries being a little bit of a joke eventually between the Millwall fans, I don't think he got through many 90 minutes. If not injured, then out of gas. And Gary Rowett, of course, brought him to the club after working with him at Derby, showed real faith in Bennett, but his time at the club and the club's patience and the fans' patience with him did start to dwindle, and you got the feeling that might be it for him. However, I'm pretty sure he did get a new contract at the start of the season that just went, but again, just when you just held high hopes for him that, come on, you're going to sort this out now, you're going to get yourself right and you're going to get fit and firing. And again, with his stature and his build, it's hard to understand why his body isn't really cut out for the modern game. And last season, he made 21 appearances, only 7 of those as a starter. And I remember back to a game, I think it was around Christmas time, where he sort of went up for a challenge, comes down, no one around him. Originally, we thought he broke his leg or his ankle, and we was expecting him to be out for the whole season. But again, he did come back, and you've got to give him that. He just keeps coming back and keeps coming back. Where does this leave Mason Bennett? And where does this leave the club that he's going to be leaving the club? I think it's best for all parties concerned. He's only 26, nearly 27 years old. Still plenty of football left in him. If he can get himself right. But I think his last contract with us, I may be wrong, was a pay-as-you-play contract. I expect him to go to a League One club. I expect them to put him on a pay-as-you-play contract once again. Is it a good move for the club? Well, unfortunately, as much as I thought he's a good player, very much in the Conor Mahoney mould. Both very, very talented, but just couldn't get fit and firing for our club for whatever reason. I think it's definitely the right move for the club. And I think they've been a little bit ruthless here. And I think they need to be, with budget needing to be spent elsewhere. There is now, of course, a lot of players in Bennett's position. And as I always say, we're inundated with the emergence of Romain Esse, the signing of Duncan Watmore. Of course, we had Ollie Burke. He's now gone back to Werder Bremen. Will he come back? That waits to be seen. We've also got George Honeyman, who can play in those wide roles. And the gaffer also likes to use Andreas Volksammer. And you've got Tyler Bury on the fringes. So as I said, we are absolutely stacked in that area of the pitch. And I think with Bennett going out the club, I don't think there'll be a like-for-like replacement coming in. I think you'll see the wages freed up, which I imagine to be in the region of £10,000 to £15,000 a week. Again, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I know nothing concrete. I think that could be much wisely invested somewhere else across the pitch, maybe in the back line. But yeah, look, it is a sad day. I feel quite sad about it. He's leaving the club. Never a Millwall legend, never really one that got going for the club, but you felt that he was invested in the club and he enjoyed his time. He's already posted on social media. We wish him all the best, but Mason Bennett will leave Millwall on a free transfer. And so that's your lot for the Den Daily. I hope you have enjoyed it. It feels good to be back in the seat. And let's try and get rid of those memories, wipe the memories away from the final day against Blackburn. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow. If not Sunday, I will be filming other videos, but I might put them all out Sunday now. I'm not sure. I'll try and get a Scott Malone one out tomorrow. Ryan Leonard one I'll do if and when he signs a new contract. They are in negotiations. And as I said at the start of the show, I will do a player by player and their situation at the club, released, retained, or currently in contract negotiations. I'll go through all that probably Sunday. I may well go live. Keep an eye on our socials. Enjoy your weekend. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.